Brad Pitt, new lover in 2022. Hello everyone. This is Fortune Guru, who runs the Fortune Chart channel. Today, I'm going to talk about Brad Pitt. Recently, Brad Pitt has been going through a tough time with his divorce from Angelina Jolie. It seems to me that Brad Pitt could meet a new lover this year. Let's see why I guess so. Brad Pitt was born on December 18, 1963. Now, let's take a closer look at his destiny. The 5 planets that affect us are Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. When we are born, the amount of energy we receive from them varies according to the positions of those 5 planets. So, destiny and fortune are different for each person. First, let's take a look at what kind of personality Brad Pitt possesses. He is flexible and soft on the outside, but he is a person who has a strong will to live and do his best every day. He is strong and persistent towards his goals, and he will get fiery anger when things don't go his way. He is intelligent and generous, so he has a warm temperament of a nobleman. He has conviction and drive, but he can be somewhat whimsical, urgent, and dogmatic. He tends to be cold to the people around him and seems stiff on the outside, and he can't know what's inside. He has a friendly personality, and he is popular and likable to people, but he also has the coldness of not wanting to deal with it once it goes wrong. He has a soft heart, and because he cares about others, his willpower and stamina are weak in his work. Because he is optimistic, he always seems relaxed, and he has a tendency to subtly depend on others. However, he has great creativity and ideas, and he has a unique ability to express them. Let's take a look at his destiny from now on in earnest, and then look at his fortune. He was born in the year of Mercury and Jupiter's rabbit. He was born on the month of Jupiter and Mercury's rat, the day of Jupiter and Saturn's goat. Mercury and Jupiter's rabbit's year refers to his school days at the age of 0 to 20, but at the same time, it also refers to his grandfather and grandmother. Jupiter and Mercury's rat's month refers to the age of 20 to 40 and is related to his job. It also provides important clues to examine his relationship with his elders, namely his father, mother, and boss at work. The day of Jupiter and Saturn's goat refers to the age of 40 to 60. Brad Pitt himself. In particular, Jupiter means himself, and Saturn's goat means his wife. As mentioned earlier, he was born in the year of Mercury and Jupiter's rabbit. Although it varies from person to person, Mercury in Brad Pitt means contract, document, study, pass, break, etc. Known as a playboy, he has the brakes to control his actions. Can't you believe it? As I will explain later, this has to do with his fortune. His Jupiter's rabbit stands for attraction. It also means that he adorns his words, or adorns his writings, or dresses stylishly. It can also mean that he decorates the house. He was born in the month of Jupiter and Mercury's rat. Brad Pitt's Jupiter means competitor. It also gives him mental stress and financial loss, especially when you meet Jupiter in capital letters in fortune. 2022 is the year of Mercury and Jupiter's tiger. So this is a time when he can suffer financial losses along with serious mental stress this year. His Mercury's rat means he has a fatal attraction. It can also mean a secret love affair, and it has the power to subdue its rivals. It takes on the role of his guardian angel. If I interpret it, his Mercury's rat means that he has a lethal charm that beats his rivals and has a secret love affair. He was born on the day of Jupiter and Saturn's goat. Brad Pitt is a lowercase Jupiter. The green Jupiter means brother, sister, friend, colleague, or competitor. To him, the yellow Saturn means lover, wife, and wealth. In particular, his Saturn's goat, like Mercury's rat, plays an important role in suppressing competitors. Earlier, I said that he has Mercury, so he has good control over his behavior. But that was his childhood. If you look only at his natural fortune, he has Saturn's goat, making the device that controls his behavior useless from the age of 40 to 60. Another thing is that his Saturn's goat and Mercury's rat are antagonistic to each other. In general, it is not suitable for work life when one's position and the position of a superior are hostile, and he doesn't have a good relationship with himself and his parents either. Brad Pitt doesn't have Venus. Venus means work, children, and fandom to him. He also doesn't have Mars. Mars means the desire for expression, the sexual desire, the means, etc. to him. That doesn't mean he doesn't have them in the real world. One of the ways we choose a job is to chase a planet we don't have. If he chooses a career after chasing the planet Mars, he will work in broadcasting, film, telecommunications, internet, clothing, fashion, beauty, aviation, and transportation. Also, if he chooses a job after chasing the planet Venus, he will work in finance, medical care, computing, and civil service. But we have already seen that he is in a hostile relationship with his superiors. So he can't have a normal working life. Also, I think he has a Mercury's rat, and he has chosen a very attractive job that attracts people's attention. Of course, it will be difficult if the opportunity does not come from his fortune. His destiny includes Mercury's rat and Saturn's goat. I mentioned earlier that they overwhelm his competitor at once. Now, let's take a look at what kind of fortune Brad Pitt faced. There is no Venus in destiny of Brad Pitt, who possesses a fatal charm. To him, Venus means the audience and fandom that recognizes its charm. He can take it very strongly when it comes in through his fortune. It's like why a hungry person overeats. If you take a look at Brad Pitt's entire life through his great fortune, you can see the white Venus appearing from 1987 to 2007. What did Venus mean to him? That's right. For him, it means guests, spectators, and fandom. Just like when a hungry person eats food, he eats in a hurry. I looked up when Brad Pitt debuted. Coincidentally, Brad Pitt's acting career began in 1987, with uncredited parts in the films No Way Out, 1987, No Man's Land, 1987, and Less Than Zero, 1987. Currently, Brad Pitt faces the great fortune of 2017 to 2027. His great fortune during this period was Saturn and Mars horse. To Brad Pitt, Saturn means greed for wealth, money, and women. To him, Mars means money-making means and sexual desire. There will be an opportunity to revisit his playboy temperament later. When Saturn and Mars appear together, there is an opportunity to have a relationship with the opposite sex. But for Brad Pitt, 2018 to 2021 is the time when Mercury's planet appears. Mercury means to control, learn, etc. So even if he's dating someone, the relationship doesn't last long. In other words, when Mercury appears, Mars and Saturn's influence diminishes. As mentioned earlier, his Mars means sexual desire, Saturn means woman, etc. 2022 is the year of Mercury and Jupiter's tiger. Brad Pitt's Mercury means a contract, document, study, perseverance, etc. But tiger doesn't allow it. His contract will be broken, and his patience will run out. This could mean that he sells real estate or breaks his contract with the film production company. Tiger disturbs his temperance. His tiger means that the true lover he has been waiting for appears. He captures the lover through the Mars that his tiger holds. I said his Mars was his sexual desire. For Brad Pitt, the year of Jupiter's tiger means a scandal. If we interpret this comprehensively, a lover appears to him, his sexual desires are strongly revealed, and his self-control is weakened. So his new love begins. Brad Pitt's 2019 to 2023 love fortune chart. From November 2019 to July 2020, you can see his love fortune chart rising sharply. This period has a large increase that cannot be overlooked. After that, a downward trend is seen until October 2020. I searched and found that Brad Pitt had a brief relationship with a female model who was 29 years younger than him during this period and then broke up. And his love fortune chart has been showing a meaningful upward trend since January 2022. A look at this along with his health fortune chart yields meaningful results. Since Brad Pitt's health includes sexual desire, if his health fortune chart also rises significantly while the love fortune chart rises significantly, the likelihood of his lover appearing increases. As you can see, there is a section that rises significantly after December 2020. Now, let me think about this for a moment. If you fall in love with someone, will you be able to control your behavior? You have to let go of self-control before you fall in love. We'll be looking at Brad Pitt's self-discipline on the contract fortune chart. Here is his contract fortune chart from 2019 to 2023. As you can see, it is a downward curve from October 2019 to April 2020. At this time, Brad Pitt was briefly dating a female model who was 29 years younger than him. Since then, his contract fortune chart is an uptrend until November 2020. It means he's awake. Let's take a look at the current situation. Brad Pitt's contract fortune chart shows a downtrend through May 2022. If his love fortune chart and health fortune chart rise significantly during this time, he will find new love, as we have already seen before. For this reason, I expect Brad Pitt to meet a new lover this year.